So as a sideline reporter, a lot of viewers will only see when you come on screen or when you give a report, but what are you typically doing throughout a game? Because you're constantly working. How many steps are you getting in a game, and what are the things you're doing throughout the game that people don't see?
I think a pedometer would give maybe like 5 miles, because for a normal game when you're crossing the field and going around in circles, for this game I'm just going to be on Notre Dame sideline, but I'm always behind the bench area. I'm always listening, and you're listening to the broadcast to hear about themes. Like if they're talking about how the offensive line can't get any push up front and they're really struggling, I'm standing behind the offensive line. I'm listening to the coaching points. I'm listening to what the coaches say to try to think of themes, craft a report, and also the eyes and ears to try to get cameras on. Hey, Riley Leonard is yelling encouragement at his offensive line. Let's get a camera shot of that. And reporters will get cameras to the right places to get those emotional shots. Probably more than half of the emotional shots that you see in the bench area, a reporter pushed someone to get that shot. And it doesn't mean that I'm on the air or that it's attributed to me, but it means that I'm a part of a team and that I've contributed to the team and that I'm valuable for being there. So I think that's the coolest part. And also just listening to the bench area, getting to know the players and what makes them tick and how they act in their worst moments and in some of their best moments. So that's been a really cool part of the job.
Molly, what is the craziest experience you've had trying to chase down either a player or a coach for an interview?
Oh my goodness. There are too many to think of. The only one that comes to mind, because recency bias, so we covered Georgia's loss at Ole Miss. And so Ole Miss fans stormed the field twice. They were so excited. They stormed the field, got pushed off for the final 16 seconds, and then stormed the field again. So by the time the clock hit zeros, Lane Kiffin was already in the other end zone. So I had to barrel through fans and players, and I didn't know what to do. So I put both elbows out and just barreled through like a running back.
I was going to say.
So proud of me. Barreled through like a running back and just yelled, "Moo!" and ran as fast as I could and basically like knocked my own little path, and I got to him and I got the interview. But any other time, if I hadn't done that and run with that much physicality and determination,
right,
I wouldn't have gotten the interview.
And you don't have like the cops by you like the coaches do to like set that up.
It's just me.
Yeah.
It's me on an island. And if I get the interview, great. But if I don't, it's on me that I didn't get that interview. So that leads me to have desperation and throw some elbows.
Mm-hmm. And like, what is that pressure like? Because it's not like they just come to you. Like, you got to go get them. You got to work. You're doing your work on the field. A lot of people think, oh, they'll just bring it over, but
I don't think people realize, because this job, like, people could mail it in. You could not run for the coach. You could not stand behind the bench and just listen to broadcasts and sell stories that you have from the week. But you're only as good as the effort and the hustle that you give, I truly believe. So to run for the coach, to get the interview, there's sometimes they say, hey, we're 2 minutes off air. If you can't get them quickly, we're not doing the interview. Oh, my interview's getting on the air. I am running to the coach, and I'm going to get him. My goal is always right off the handshake, get the coach off the handshake. He turns around, hi, congratulations on the win. Are you ready for your interview? Just so that is out of the way, so that then they can go celebrate with their team, so that then they can go be a part of the alma mater, because once they're a part of all of those other emotional things, they're out of the moment of the game and you've lost them. So for me, it's important as the clocks hit zero to get the coach right off the handshake.
You mentioned you're only doing Notre Dame on this one, but most of the time you're doing both.
Yeah.
So how do you know when to go to the other side of the field, when to come back? Because that takes time to get back and forth. How do you know which side?
Game?
Yeah, in a normal
So
game when you're doing both.
Game, it's all feel and intuition and feeling moments and themes. So if you know that a team's run game is really struggling, you could either go to the defensive line of the team who's holding them, or you could go to the O-line and to the running backs and listen to them. It's just what the theme is about. A big part of that is listening to your broadcasting crew. Like, if their emphasis with the lack of run game is all on that defensive front, that's who I'll listen to so I can add to that conversation. But it's kind of all instinct and feel to know which side to go to. And then if there's injuries, you're hustling to run to go get that injury information, because you want to observe and watch the player walk off the field and hear what they say to their trainer, because the schools give you minimal information, so you just need to observe and be able to report what you see.